and gently. I was the unfaithful wife, redeemed by my husband from the man I ran to. This man turned, and the sweetness I desired soon was shown to be rot. You again rescued me, and I thought, this time I'm done for. I have been caught and snared in my sin. I am sure to be a servant all my days. But no, in the midst of my shame, you still called me lovingly by my name. In your eyes, you still saw your bride. In your eyes, you saw your long-lost son. Father, at first I sat with princes, but it was a facade. Sin showed me his true face and left me much worse than the pigs. I said to myself, I am done for. I'll go back. And should my father have with absolute joy tears of love for your long-lost son, there is a river that sinners like I know. I remember you walking with me. We walked in silence, but I knew I was loved, forgiven. You washed me gently, healed my wounds, washed away my guilt and shame. You anointed my head with oil. You poured your fragrant perfume all over me. You embraced me in your love, clothed me with radiant garments of righteousness. You placed a ring on my finger and my sandals on my feet. It was the beginning when you molded me, my ancestors in the garden. When I rose, your eyes were the first I saw. And I knew then that I was loved. Because in love, I was born. That is where I came from. I knew then that I was destined to be yours. I hear the song you sang over me. I hear the song you sing over me. Let me hear it always. There is a river.
Pages. Yo, what up? It's your boy Dre, aka Gamelihle Ncube Jr., and you are listening to FoLake Ncube International Anthem.
And so that is our first piece of poetry today from Gamelihle Ncube at the beautiful name. As I was saying, we've had him on the show. Coming up next is also another exciting piece of literature that I have from another Zimbabwean writing is, but I'll give you 3 words. Her name, Nothando Cindy Usai. That's coming up next right here on Pages. Let me know what it is that you are reading, if you're an avid reader. And I'm actually curious, how are you getting your little people to actually love reading? Thank you so much for sending me a screenshot of what you are reading this morning. Take a listen to this one. Jack Reacher, One Shot, the #1 best-selling author by Lee Child. And I've watched the movies at Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise. Absolutely love them. So it must be quite an interesting read there. I think, you know, when you are actually not relying on pictures, you're having to create the pictures for yourself in your mind, isn't it? Quite interesting. Thank you so much for sending me a screenshot of what you're reading. Let me know on 0719100404 what it is that you're reading. And I was sharing with you my experiences when I was in school. When I didn't get the prize I thought I should have won. Let me know if you've had similar experiences as well in your walk to success. What is the one place you felt like, well, like it should have been me, but for one reason or another, it just wasn't? And what was your book prize that you received in school? Let me know on 0719100404 as we are getting ready to read from Nothando Cindy Usai's book, Dreams Under the Moon Sun.
And in everything I do, I move confidently to outstretch the parameters of how you should see yourself, so that you can reframe your life. FoLake on Capital 100.4 FM.
And so actually, before I share with you from Notando's book, it's interesting. It's like we've got like 10 minutes left. I always marvel at how quickly time flies. So I just want to read this one to you. And you let me know if you can tell who is this writer. I tell you, we're also live on our Facebook page. This book is in tatters and I need you to see this. And that's how much this book has been through a lot. And yet it is one of our favorite Zimbabwean writers, entrenched in our minds as we remember his legacy. I'm also going to read from his book. Let's see if you can quickly tell which writer this one is 0719100404. Oh, thank you so much, 8944, for coming through. You said you are reading. Let's see which book you are currently reading in the few minutes we have. The Tabo Besta story, the Facebook rapist, the celebrity doctor, escaped from Cell 35, written by Maricia Damons and Daniel Stein. Oh, this one sounds interesting. The Tabo Besta story. I'm so curious, is it one of those books as you're reading it? Is it emotive? It's a quintessential crime story, murder, rape, cons, an improbable love affair, a prison break, a burnt body and a coffin filled with meat, a flashy lifestyle, and then a hasty escape in a black SUV through 3 countries. And I think this is a story that's been making headlines, right? I think this the South African drama. Tell me, what's the book like in terms of its storytelling? Is it an easy read? Is it certainly living up to the billing that we saw coming out of the story? All right, so now I'm going to quickly just read a page. Let me know if you can tell what this book is in the 8 minutes you and I have left together. He quite casually cradled it in his right hand fingers and all right, let me put this one to the side for a second and then we'll come back to that one. Let's do Notando Cindy Osai. The trees watched us with hunchback curiosity as we trudged through the thick forest. Are we there yet? I nagged amongst the showers of leaves. Be still, we have almost arrived at our destination, he informed me, swiping away a cloudy palm leaf in our path. I looked down at the still green and piles of living leaves beneath my feet. The distant sound of twittering birds flitted into my ears. The enchanting echoes approached us until they became a soothing song. In a graceful gesture, the birds descended upon us, engulfing us in a tsunami of fluffy feathers. I smiled up at the sunset sky, wondering when Blue would return from his search as warmth enveloped my body. Beware, Zephyr said, crouching down, appearing like a tree Amazonian in his exotic attire. His dewy hair glistened with life. All the colors of the wind flowed through his veins. There may lie a predator right around the Roar! I jumped out of flesh like a shedding snake and halted. Right behind my ear, I felt the lap of a huge, slippery muscle against my skin. My body screamed with a tight tension and my breathing collapsed. I kept my eyes straight ahead at the short bushes that were wedged like small beads between the trees. In my peripheral, I saw the glimmer and shimmer of a shiny metal, and my body almost ceased functioning. My eyes blew wide with fear, and my limbs began to tremble. The familiar sensation of my vision fogging over, with my brain going into paralysis, was immediately evident because my limbs refused to operate. A shiver rattled my spine, and my knees turned to lead us as Zephyr strode towards me slowly, a sword in each hand. "Please don't take another step." A strangled whisper escaped my throat. I would sooner die than be under the pain of a knife. My voice trembled out. Zephyr was caught like a deer in the face of flashing headlights as the ferocious animal behind me stomped over the leaves, gravitating around me in a spherical manner. Its fur, like that of a rainbow-colored tiger, bristled against my skin, sending a violent rash prickling over my arms. "Don't move," Zephyr warned, sliding his blades back into his scabbard. The creature unhinged its jaw loudly, and my eyes zeroed in on its intimidating canines as they gravitated in the air. Poised for attack over my neck, I sprang into action, throwing my brutal blow onto his lower jaw. With all of my faith and strength, I sent the animal hurtling into the atmosphere and disappearing into a distance. Zephyr quickly took a station behind me. My breaths entered a mile a second, and my eyes blurred in and out of focus. Zephyr quickly took a station beside me. My breaths entered a mile a second, and my eyes blurred in and out of focus. Whoosh! I heard as Blue landed beside us. A wild wind blew around us, and it was little difficult to keep my feet planted on the ground. Blue chipped up happily, and after my berserk heart attack calmed down, Zephyr and I ascended on his back. Blue rocketed into the air like a jaguar in hot pursuit of prey. We rose into the sky with astounding speed. The wind roared all around me as we reached the summit of that world. Halted, opening his beak to release his velvet cry that thrilled through the air. I opened my mouth as my heart wished to cry along with him, but once again, I kept my voice to myself. My strength began to wane the moment Blue's voice was no longer crying through the air. My strength returned. We pushed forward, heads first high into the sky, and soon a glow like no other shone in the distance. Dreams under the sun, dreams under the noonday sun. Nothando Cindy Usai. So you and I have been taking a walk through different literature, right? We started off with our kids' book. We've done some fantastical reading from Nothando Cindy Usai. We also did the beautiful name Gamelihle Ncube, all the way from Bulawayo, who sent us his poetry. And you should see me right now. I've got stacks of books right around me that I intended to read. So as we are celebrating World Book Month, I will continue to share with you and introduce you to some exciting writers. And why haven't you sent me a piece of your writing towards what you're writing? Thank you so much, 8944. You said what motivated you to read the Thabo Bester story is because when you first heard about the story via TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, I started following closely to understand what exactly transpired. So basically, there is need for someone who is good with dates, chronology, to go back and forth and get to understand who did what, when. It's quite a good read for those who like crime documentaries. I'm still here to meet some outstanding crime writers in Zimbabwe. If you know any, let me know on Capital 100.4 FM. Harare Zabi, 10 o'clock. Let's go to the news and we'll continue sharing and exchanging conversation, shall we?